All right, for our final lesson in functions, we're going to be talking about finding the roots of polynomials. To find the root of a polynomial, you first have to know what a root is. And a root, as you remember, is just where the function hits the x-axis. So if this is my function, okay, my roots are at here, where it touches here and here. And another way of saying this, it's where your function has a y of 0. You see? Because my y is always 0 in these three. Okay? So what we can do to solve these problems, if I want to find the roots of these, is set them all equal to 0, as if I had a y equals 0. So I could rewrite this as 0 equals x squared minus 10x. And 0 is just where my roots are, when my y is 0. So first step is just to set this equal 0. From there, you solve it like we've always been solving quadratics. Now, there's different ways to do it. It's going to be, you have to use your factoring skills for this. So what kind of factoring would I do for this? Oh yeah, this is not quadratic, and it's not difference of squares, it's greatest common factor, because that's the king of them. They both have an x. So I factor an x out of both of these guys. X, and that becomes x minus 10. All right? From here, to find out what makes this equal 0, I set both of my roots equal 0. So here's one of these. That's one factor, and this is my other factor. So it's going to be x is equal to 0, and x minus 10 is equal to 0. From here, I solve. Well, this is already solved for, so one of my roots is going to be equal to 0. And one of my other roots, well, let's add 10 to both sides, and I get x is equal to 10. Okay, so I know what you're thinking. Maybe Mr. Siegel did this wrong. Maybe he's lying to us. Well, that's why we have Desmos.com. Let's check our answer. Okay, here we are at Desmos. I put my function in, and now we can actually take a good look at it, okay? So this is our function, and if you look at it, where are our roots? Well, that's right. They're at 0 and 10, just like we predicted. Look at that. 0 and 10 are our roots. That's where it hits the x-axis. Well done, us. All right, let's move on to our... So I just said everything equal to 0, written it out for you right there, okay? Now, once again, you have to figure out what kind of factoring am I going to do. It's just your factoring skills at this point. And the kind of factoring you're going to do here is, well, there's 4 terms. You're thinking, that's right. Factor by grouping, right? When you have 4 terms, you do factor by grouping. So all we have to do is factor out the greatest common factor from the first 2. That's an x, and we get x squared. Oh, that's an x squared. My bad. I almost got tricked there. All right, we take out an x squared, and that leaves us with x plus 2. And from here, we could factor out a negative 9, and that leaves us with x plus 2. From here, we get 0 equals x squared minus 9 times x plus 2. All right, I set both of these equal to 0. All right, so it's x squared minus 9 is equal to 0, and x plus 2 is equal to 0. While I solve these guys, I add 9 to both sides. I get x squared equals 9, and from here I get x is equal to negative 2. That guy's already solved. This one we still have some work to do on. Well, we're going to have to take the square root of both sides because we have an x squared, and we get x is equal to, and don't forget when you take the square root, you have to do the positive or negative square root, positive negative square root of 9, which is 3. So this is actually 2 separate roots. X can be equal to 3, or x can be equal to negative 3. All right, those are our 3 possible roots after we solved by factoring. It looks like class is over. You guys are probably busting into the room right now. Let's call it a day.